but high temperatures to contend with.
Wang Yuting with the goal kick. Japan immediately trying to play the ball forward. Hamano's pass intercepted though. Now back in the other direction comes Wu Kai-ching. Only briefly though. Shimizu, who plays her club football at Liverpool. Now Maika Hamano. So many WSL connections in this Japan team. Tottenham, Liverpool, Manchester City, Brighton. It's been a concerted effort from the Nadeshiko to spread their wings and go and play at the top clubs and the best leagues in the world. As we see in advance down the left flank, a blocked cross. Chinese Taipei packed the defensive penalty area and they're trying to clear their lines. Only as far as Moeka Minami. Now Hamano, quick 1-2 with Hasegawa. Natural passing from Japan, switching from right to left. Kitagawa. And now Aoba Fujino. Well, a game of patience at the moment for Japan. Lots of short passes. They're not dragging too many Chinese Taipei defenders out of position just yet. They're stroking the ball around with such elegance. Hasegawa, long shots on here. Hasegawa didn't want to engage. Shimizu. Takahashi. Minami. Now probing ball into the box, and at last the goalkeeper can put gloves on the ball, but that was north of 30 consecutive passes connected before eventually Japan tried to probe the penalty area.
And patient too from Japan, just picking their moment to go forward. They've got a lot of traffic to get through. Chinese Taipei sitting with 9 players, 10 players behind the ball, plus the goalkeeper.
No time wasted from Hamano, starting another attacking chain, although this time the interception comes. Saki Matsunaga, the player in the Chinese Taipei team, but with a name with Japanese heritage, the number 10. Fujino with a burst of speed and a cross inside, and then a shot on the instep that didn't generate a great deal of power. Not the worst idea from Mina Tanaka there.
Well, we're well inside 10 minutes, and in that time already, Japan have had majority of possession, almost 90%. They've had 5 shots and 2 of them on target. Feels like it's really a matter of time before they're able to capitalise on some of that dominance.
Well, the extraordinary thing is they are nearing 100 completed passes, and we're not even at the 10-minute mark. They could be on for an extraordinary passing figure today. The important thing is to turn all that possession and build up into goals. Just one will ease the nerves here. The longer the game goes that Chinese Taipei can hold out, the more confident they might get about being able to defend, regardless of not having the ball at all. Takahashi plays the pass to Minami. Now Hasegawa again. And the shot is batted away. Good save. Tanakawa, Hamano. Wang Yuting equal to the first shot, but there's another one coming potentially here, and it's off the post. And the follow-up is blocked away. Great scramble coming in from Chen Jin-Weng de Clear. But the woodwork is Chinese Taipei's friend and keeps Japan out.
Well, Tanakawa will be wondering how she couldn't find the back of the net on this passage of play. Did really well to recycle possession and keep things alive for Japan. And the cross just barreling off the inside of the woodwork and then out back into the field of play.
So 10 minutes ticked by. Japan have more or less done everything but score now. Shots on target, hitting the post. Chinese Taipei with a defensive 5 and a midfield 4, all stacked very compactly in front of their penalty area. Minami out to the left. Hasegawa. And Nagano. Back to Yui Hasegawa. Now Fujino resisted the urge to cross. Here's a drifting ball and a bending header which goes wide from Micah Hamano there.
This is the early opportunity that was denied only by the woodwork. And it was a great bit of movement from Tanikawa. Did beat the goalkeeper, could not beat the woodwork. Nice little clip over the top as well. The chances are just starting to pile up for Japan. And the real test for them is how they go about breaking down what is a really consolidated Chinese Taipei defensive block.
Maybe a first forward foray here for Chinese Taipei. It is closed down quite quickly, and a touch for Ayaka Yamashita in goal for Japan. Immediately into the attacking half. Go the Nadeshiko. Shimizu's pass. Hamano. Micah Hamano trying to lose her marker over on the wing. Studious defending from Huang Kei-sin to stick with it. Minami. Shimizu. Nagano. Again, it's about picking the right pass, and this one is going to bend into the airspace of Huang Kei-sin, who puts the ball behind for a corner, but her defending on that last passage of play perhaps typifying the level of attention and commitment needed from Chinese Taipei at present. Shimizu. Nagano. Again, it's about picking the right pass, and this one is going to bend into the airspace of Huang Kei-sin, who puts the ball behind for a corner, but her defending on that last passage of play perhaps typifying the level of attention and commitment needed from Chinese Taipei at present.
Another chance for Japan, another corner, another set piece. Just to see what they can work to try and find a goal, try and capitalise on all of this dominance, this possession.
Tanikawa continuing to take the corners from the right side. And the first header is Japan's, but dealt with on one bounce and cleared away. Hasegawa straight back into the penalty area with the second ball. And a left-footed attempt is blocked through traffic and out. Fujino taking aim there, but plenty of players between her left-footed strike and the goal.
A number of times now, it's just the congested area of Chinese Taipei that is making things really difficult for Japan at the moment. A bit of desperation sprinkled in with that. The chances are there, most certainly building.
So Tanikawa stepping out her run-up. And the referee is just going to say, pause please. VAR is checking for a possible penalty on that last replay, and the referee saying, wait for my whistle please before this corner can be taken. Right, VAR is satisfied. Referee Oh Hyun-jong of Korea Republic just laying down the law inside the penalty area, and we're ready to see the corner now come in from Tanikawa. An in-swinger, One fist down from the keeper. Hasegawa blocked away. With every minute that ticks off the clock, Chinese Taipei starting to become more resilient. It does feel like we're not in for Japan, but another pass into the box here. It's going to slide on. First time shot, again, deflected away. Hasegawa, Hamano. And the offside flag goes up. So Chinese Taipei have made it to 15 minutes and continue to resist.
Well, they most certainly do. And so far, what has been a valiant effort, just getting their bodies between the shots that are peppered at their goal at the moment. Chinese Taipei blocking everything coming their way. A good save as well from the goalkeeper, Wang Yuting. Nice punch away in that last corner.
Micah Hamano down the right wing. Two defenders to contend with, so back to Hasegawa. And starting to make a bit more noise, finding their voice, enjoying the game on offer at the moment. No prospect of a counter-attack though. Chinese Taipei sitting too deep, not even able to clear their defensive half at present. Minami and Takahashi just waiting for the right pass to appear. Hasegawa never far away from pulling the strings. Good physical play from Tanakawa to withstand the challenge of Chen Yuqin. Maybe the pace of the attack will change here at the feet of Riza Shimizu. Another cross that's going to slide towards the target, and that one lands on the roof of the net.
Yeah, disappointing effort in the end from Riza Shimizu, and she'll know as much. What I liked about that last passage for Japan was instead of going wide and trying to stretch the field, they went right down the middle. You could see the Chinese Taipei players being drawn in, and then the space opened up wide. On that occasion, it wasn't made the most of.
There's the Australian connection in the Japan team. Leah Blaney, former Matilda, former Canberra United player, and now assistant coach to Nils Nielsen. Spends a lot of her time in England monitoring the performances and checking in with the players of the Japanese national team that are in the English system.
Well, so many of this team now over in arguably one of the top flights of football, the Women's Super League in England, playing in some of the very best teams.
Desperation at the edge of the penalty area, and good defending coming in from Chen Jin Wang, able to put her body in the way of the ball, and then it was swept away by Wu Kai-ching, who you can see there. Chinese Taipei back at consecutive tournaments. VAR just having another look at this last phase of play, so the throw-in will be held up. But 2022 in India was the first time that Chinese Taipei had made it back to an Asian Cup since 2008. They were a powerhouse. They used to be mainstays, 3 times winners, 2 times runners-up. And they were in Australia when Australia last hosted the tournament in 2006, but they went home winless from that tournament. They'll be hoping for a change in fortunes 20 years on. Hasegawa's pass intercepted. Immediately trying to win the ball back though, and it's cleared away by Matsunaga. See Yamashita happy to come almost up to the halfway line, playing as a keeper sweeper so that Japan can stay on the attack, and through the left side they venture. Up comes the cross over the head of Tanakawa. Shimizu trying to connect over on the opposite side of the penalty area. Tough pass to retrieve over on the wing for Fujino, but she does so. Now looking up at Chung Chi-lan. Nearly the through ball there for Mina Tanaka. Sweeping cross from Kitagawa, and the whistle goes. Wong Yu-ting is down in the meantime, having taken the ball.
Well, it's been a dominant 20 minutes by Japan. We have a look at this last opportunity, which is put into a dangerous area. Out comes the goalkeeper, just collects a bit of contact on her way through from Tanaka. A little worse for wear after that. But 20 minutes and a barrage of pressure Chinese Taipei have been put under. It's just a momentary break, and we do hope that Wong Yu-ting is okay to continue. Hot afternoon in Perth.
So Doctor and physio are out, and Wong Yu-ting able to bounce back up, which is good news. Draws a round of applause. Players taking the opportunity to quickly grab a drink during this break in play. Prasad Chokamore, the Thai coach of Chinese Taipei, gets the thumbs up from the medical staff, so the goalkeeper will be staying out on the pitch. And the whistle had gone before the collision as Wong Yu-ting took the ball, and the end result here is a free kick for Japan due to a handball from the defender who was leaping outside the penalty area as that cross came in. So free kick for a handball, but as you can see from where it's being taken, it occurred well outside the box. Still an acute angle free kick that poses plenty of danger. Momoko Tanakawa to take the set piece. Tanakawa whips it in, and the goalkeeper back up and running. Wong Yu-ting with a double fist away. Fujino, underlapping run from Shimizu. Chinese Taipei, can they break out on the counter here? It's a solo run, and it's ended quite unfortunately. It's part of the perils of defending in such a low block. There's no one getting forward in support, and Pu Sin Hui has come off worse for wear.
Well, it's a great run by Pu Sin Hui, and really good physicality as well. It took a great degree of effort for Fujino, the returning defender, to disrupt the play. It was the first time, I'd say, we've seen Japan become just a little bit stretched. And again, hoping it's nothing too serious. But they're the sort of moments that Chinese Taipei will look to rely on. Little counter-attacking plays, moments of transition.
It really was just a lone run. There were no teammates getting forward in support, so even if Pu Sin Hui had been able to lose the attention of Herber Fujino here, there would have been no one to pass to. It would have been looking up at a entirely Japanese defensive half with no other white shirts in the vicinity.
Well, the teams faced each other midway through last year on the day Japan winning out 4-0, and it took into almost the 25th minute for them to score on that occasion.
So this is not good signs. The medical staff having to help Pu Sin Hui walk along the sideline. Looks as though we might have a forced substitution here for Chinese Taipei. They won't want to spend too long defending 10 versus 11. 11 versus 11 has already been challenging enough, but for now, they are one player short. Kitagawa. Nagano. Takahashi. Hasegawa spinning on the ball, but not able to advance, being guarded by Matsunaga. And now Hasegawa. Hamano. Shimizu. To Maika Hamano. Nagano from a standing start. Hamano now drifts the cross, and the volley is over the bar. Great idea. Hikaru Kitagawa couldn't keep it down.
Thumbs up though. Enjoyed the delivery, Kitagawa, and it was good movement by Japan. And you could see again, just being patient, biding their time, waiting to pick the pass. They don't look frustrated yet, Japan, but as time wears on and that substitution confirmed for Chinese Taipei.
So the number 26, Yang Xiao Chuan, comes on. And unfortunately, barely 20 minutes into the tournament, Pu Xin Hui has had to leave the game. So one player leaves injured, another is down again. For those of you following the tournament, yesterday Uzbekistan had to substitute their goalkeeper in the first half as well, as they took on DPR Korea. Chinese Taipei hoping to have to avoid making a similar challenging decision here, as Wong Yu-ting has already made some good saves and been pretty important to keeping this 0-0 scoreline so far.
Undoubtedly, Wong Yu-ting being the busiest of the goalkeepers, already having made 4 saves. Number of clearances, that's a heavy clattering as well.
Hasegawa, in the end of some good work from Tanakawa to hold off 2 markers. Hasegawa, an incisive pass. Tanakawa, Hamano making a run and hurdled over a slide challenge, which in the end didn't get a touch on the ball. So Chinese Taipei again. Great defending there from Huang Kei-sin.
Yeah, really well defended from Chinese Taipei. And disciplined at the end for Huang Kei-sin not to get a touch, as that made its way through. But once more, you could see Japan just trying a slightly different approach. And I think, should they want to break this Chinese Taipei team down, they're going to have to start to find some versatility in their attack. Just probing those passes through the centre of the field and then stretching things wide. At the moment, we're seeing a rinse and repeat of the same picture play out again and again.
It's undeniable also that the start-stop nature of the game since about the 15-minute mark has broken a bit of the momentum that Japan were building. Shimizu, a high looping cross. It's going to be kept in by a great touch from Fujino initially, but no second touch to be had with Chen Ji-wen right there on the scene to clear. Kitagawa, Fujino. Minami. And Chinese Taipei will not have any objections to looking at shots like that go high, wide, and not even close to the target.
Of course, in tournament football, results are important. Goal difference becomes really important as well. Japan come into not just this game, but to the entire Women's Asian Cup of 2026 as hot favourites. A really classy team. We know exactly what it feels like to lift the Asian Cup.
Fujino, a solo run, and the strike again. Well over the bar. The disappointment is starting to affect the body language of some of the Japan players.
Maybe a level of impatience as well. I don't mind the idea of a long-range shot from outside the 18-yard box. Again, that variety in attack.
Shimizu. Takahashi. Triangle of passes started and now completed by Nagano, and then tried to slide through. Hamano on the right. Shimizu. Now Hamano from a wider position. A teasing cross and a good defensive header away. Mina Tanaka being starved of the ball in the middle at the moment. Kitagawa drops the shoulder, lifts it across, and another good defensive header away. Huang Sin. Don't leave the ball behind though. Chen Jinwen able to get the ball back and scramble it clear. And now it's out for a throw in. As the ball hits the microphone there. Taking in all the sounds of the game on the side of the pitch. Nagano, Japan trying to lift the ball speed again. Get their groove back after a start-stop 10 minutes between the 20 and 30-minute mark. Good run from Fujino, hugging the line, cleared away in desperation by Xu Yi-yun. And then Chen Yinghui drives the ball away, but there is no let-up at the moment. Crowd chanting back and forth, creating a great atmosphere. Kitagawa. Hamano! Sliding off the head, couldn't get it goal bound. Tough to generate power when just striving to reach the ball in the air was the main challenge. And this will suit Chinese Taipei down to the ground. There's going to be a cooling break here per the determination of the match commissioner with the weather today, and so the chance to come in, get some ice packs on the back of necks and have a drink. But as far as, again, as breaking the momentum and interrupting Japan, Chinese Taipei will be perfectly happy with this.
Well, into the 32nd minute, and they've had to face such a great attack from Japan. Japan, everything to show for but a goal, but a finish. It does feel like it's growing and building, but to Chinese Taipei's credit, they're holding strong. There's desperate defending. They've got that shape, the defensive block stacked in, making it very difficult for Japan to play around.
So let's take a look at some of the highlights of this match so far, and understandably they're all occurring down at Japan's attacking end, but it did feel like in the first 10 minutes it was red alert defending for Chinese Taipei, because the shots were on target, the woodwork was hit, and if anything, Chinese Taipei have been able to reduce the quality of chances and the amount of work their goalkeeper has had to do ever since.
Yeah, very much so. And a great credit to Wang Yuting, who has been very busy in goal for Chinese Taipei. And Japan started well and truly on the front foot. Their passing is just exquisite. They pass with great ball speed to the correct side of their teammate's body. And they've had everything to show for, but just that clinical finish. They desperately need to find that. And they'd love even more so to do that in this first half before the halftime break. So these are just the chances that were flowing through. A total of 18 shots at the half-hour mark. If that doesn't demonstrate the dominance that we're seeing from Japan.
Quite the sound when the ball comes back off the post like that, but the goal of Chinese Taipei stayed intact. Tanaka, 44 international goals in what today is her 96th cap. An amazing strike rate, but amongst all these opportunities for Japan to score, she's been largely isolated and kept out of the action so far. Maybe that's the finishing touch they need.
Well, it is a very experienced Japan side. A nice mix of experience in terms of age, a couple of the older players still around in the squad, but this really incredible introduction of young players, both in the starting lineup and on the bench for Japan today. Just such a wonderful development we see through their youth ranks.
Well, this is a rarity, a middle of the pitch free kick for Chinese Taipei, and the chance to actually venture into their attacking half. passing stats just extraordinary. 280 to 34 at present. Chinese Taipei, pass accuracy as well, and extraordinary skew, but one well-struck pass here, and who knows what they could create. Down to the edge of the penalty area at least. There's 4 players committed forward for Chinese Taipei, and they do have an attacking half throw-in, so maybe they can just give some relief to their defence, keeping the ball down in their attacking half for some time. And now another attacking half set piece, and this one they can drop inside the penalty area. So the substitute, Yang Xiao Chuan, who was a forced change coming on for Pu Xin Hui, has been able to get Chinese Taipei in a position where if they were to score here, it would be truly extraordinary.
Well, it's almost the furthest advance we've seen them in this first half. So you'd like to think a delivery would find its way into an area that can pose a bit of a threat for Chinese Taipei.
This is a big moment in the game for Chinese Taipei. Can they shock Japan and produce a free kick that leads to a goal? Xu Yi-yun. The first header's there. It's cleared through the 6-yard box, and the follow-up shot is deflected out for a corner. Chen Yu-chen. Well, disappointment, it's not going to be a corner due to the offside flag going up. But hearts in mouth stuff for Japan.
A beautiful delivery put into a very dangerous area, what resulted in a free header. And Japan standing, watching, not really dealing with the situation. That's a great chance for Chinese Taipei. A rare chance, but a good one.
You do wonder if that might lure Chinese Taipei out of their defensive shape at the moment to try and just get the ball down their attacking end more often, or whether that moment will stand alone in a game of Japan territorial dominance as we see them into the penalty area here, and that header exploding out for a goal kick.
Here's another look at this delivery. Watch as the header is just nodded down back into what is an even more dangerous area, and it almost seemed to catch Japan a little unaware.
So a goal kick here, chance for Chinese Taipei to try to advance the ball. Off the shoulder of Matsunaga, if anything. And immediately Japan consolidate possession. Fujino. Shimizu. Hamano able to link up with Shimizu, the flag pointing in favour of Chinese Taipei for the throw-in. And a grab here leads to a free kick, and Huang Kei-sin is going to get a talking to here from the referee. Will it be accompanied by the first card of the game? Seemingly not, just a foul.
Well, I'm a little surprised. A yellow card in my eyes every day of the week. Huang Kei-sin perhaps a little lucky on that occasion to get away with that very cynical foul just before the half-time break. And what it has led to is a set piece, a free kick, and a couple of players who can deliver a ball on a dime.
So the corners haven't quite worked out for Japan, but maybe a wide free kick. Just the change of angle could be more to their liking here, looking for the opening goal. Hasegawa and Tanakawa, the two players, surveying the options here. Hasegawa breaks, Tanakawa to the edge of the box. Shimizu. Hasegawa. Good defensive header. Su Sin-yun able to clear. And now Kitagawa, who has fancied her chances from distance on a couple of occasions now, but once again not able to get the better of Wong Yu-ting in goal. And we tick into the final 5 minutes of regulation in the first half, but factor in that we've had a cooling break and also a couple of instances where the trainer has been called out to tend to injured players.
And if the first 40 minutes is anything to go by, it's going to have to take a pretty special strike to get past the Chinese Taipei goalkeeper, and Wong Yu-ting, who has been up to task in batting everything away, positioned well.
Kitagawa. Nagano. Kitagawa again. Hasegawa drifting over to the left. Wherever the game needs her, really. That pass will run long, and some no-nonsense defending from Chen Yinghui just to drive it straight out into the advertising boards.
Hasegawa, what a class act she is. Manchester City, regular performer in the midfield for them everywhere today.
Fujino's looking for just a little flick to find its way to Hasegawa. Look at this goalkeeper right on the halfway line. Yamashita. And a probing pass to Kitagawa. It slides on, and last touch of Su Sin-yun behind for a corner kick. That's the advantage of having a sweeper keeper that can come almost up to halfway and launch you an attack.
VAR checking a possible penalty, as they've had a couple of times across the course of this opening half.
So again, Japan have to wait for the corner. They get the thumbs up. Here comes the corner. And a diving header onto the ball. Hana Takahashi able to try to will it forward, but it was sliding off target by the time Wong Yu-ting dived down to take possession.
Again, to the credit, Chinese Taipei doing really well, not only flooding the area, but staying close enough to their opposition players. So every time the ball is delivered into the box, Japan trying to find some contact and really struggling to find the space.
Looking for a way through in the centre, and Tanaka again just denied the ball. He's got the two most central of the back five guarding her every time, but this time she's given them the slip. Tanaka, and off the line, it stays out. It looked like it was going in for an own goal, but Chinese Taipei scramble it clear. Last-ditch defending right on the goal line, and Tanaka showing her quality, creating that chaos. It wouldn't have been her goal had it found a way over, but it was her run to get in behind.
Incredible scenes. And again, Chinese Taipei withstand the pressure that is unrelenting from Japan at this rate.
Takahashi and now Hamano intercepted. To repel, Chen Yu-chin just runs to the sideline, runs to safety.
This is just how close it was. What a fingertip save that is from Wong Yu-ting. She has been incredible in this opening half.
Japan attacking again, body shape all important. Su Sin-yun takes down the cross, and then it's cleared. Nagano. Takahashi. Shimizu. And Su Sin-yun just blazes clear, gets it to the halfway line. Chinese Taipei about to find out how many minutes of stoppage they have to hold on here to make it to half-time. Japan about to find out how many more minutes they get to continue this siege of the Chinese Taipei penalty area. Fujino. 6 minutes is the answer. Chen Jinwen, good close control, waiting for a teammate to appear. And then that clearance only as far as Hasegawa. It's immediately back to all-out defense for Chinese Taipei. Tanaka. Hasegawa drifting, Nagano. Minami. Kitagawa. Back to Moeka Minami. Takahashi. Is there a foul there? The referee says no. It was just a very slow going to ground. And the ball is cleared away, and it gives me the chance to say what an extraordinary shot of the in-goal camera there, showing just how close it was to Japan scoring.
Well, amazing scenes, and to see from that angle, and the fingertip save as well, to deny it. You think had that contact not been made, then surely that was the first goal for Japan. Not to be.
Literal millimetres in it. 1 of 6 additional minutes is ticked by. Chinese Taipei, can they make it to the halftime break? Can Japan find a way through? The probing ball, Hamano. A low drive and just wide at the near post. Struck with real force and then unable to turn it in. Momoko Tanakawa.
Well, Niels Nielsen is looking on from the sideline, wondering what more his team has to do to find a goal. The cross lashed in with great pace. Tanakawa just couldn't quite redirect the header. That would have been an emphatic finish. Still it builds for Japan. Still Chinese Taipei, they hold on.
The clock is ticking agonisingly slowly for them. 2 of 6 minutes goes by. Can Japan find the net before half-time? It will make such a difference to the mood in the rooms during the break. If they can score a goal, and if they can't, then it'll be a very interesting half-time team talk for Niels Nielsen and Chinese Taipei that already had made 1 forced substitution on a hot day. How long can their players stick to this task of just committed defending at present? Fujino. With Tanaka, and then not able to quite thread through Kitagawa over on that left side. And another attack breaks down. Another minute ticks off the clock.
You don't get the sense that Japan are panicking or looking too concerned that they haven't been able to find a goal just yet. Sure, as the second half wears on, a couple of things will happen. Fatigue, the heat will set into the afternoon. We'll see some changes across both sets of benches. And should the result remain 0-0 as the second half wears on, undoubtedly we'll see a few tactical shifts.
Minami running forward with the ball, the centre-back, sending it out to the left. Fujino. Has come short, but the ball is going further. Once again, it's Su Si-yun leaning into a header and clearing away. Fujino, low this time. A few players just watched the ball go past, but cleared eventually. Shimizu. Bending cross. Volleyed away once again. Nagano. Shallow pass this time. Yang Xiaochuan able to get a foot on the ball, but Japan immediately win possession back, and then rolling on here, Hasegawa, goalkeeper, was right back on the line, so Hamano comes in, blazes that cross away. Looked like keeper's ball from that initial pass, but a couple of extra defensive touches needed from Chinese Taipei.
Just a little moment of hesitation in the defensive line there for Chinese Taipei, and their goalkeeper got there in the end.
5 of the allocated 6 minutes have ticked by. Half-time break. Maybe 1 or 2 phases of play away. Can Japan make the most of them? Nagano, legged here, free kick. Rukai Ching conceding the foul and then immediately returning to position. Japan wasting no time. Minami. Shimizu. Hamano. Tanakawa, things are slowing down here. Can Japan find one more pass as they venture forward? Last chance before the halftime break. Up goes the cross. It bounces through the area and then Chung Chi-lan clears. Only shallow though. We're beyond the allocated 6 minutes. Referee not yet reaching for the whistle now. A quick check of the watch and that will do it. Japan in possession, but the halftime whistle goes. And in spite of being territorially dominant in possession and creating a catalogue of chances, Japan did everything but score in that first half. And Chinese Taipei, and may well the coach be happy, they have got to halftime with the clean sheet intact. Japan 0, Chinese Taipei 0. Great skill. What a first half from Chinese Taipei to hold out.
Well, incredible from Chinese Taipei to prevent Japan from scoring. They faced just endless attack after attack.
Bahas sepak bola di sini. Semua informasi tentang sepak bola
gol pada posisi pertama dan Robert Lewandowski dengan 14.
To the first half of play where it was all-out defence from Chinese Taipei. The cap is out for Ayaka Yamashita just to keep the glare out of the eyes in goal. It's pretty relaxed looking Japan. They're not huddling up. They're happy to stand in a circle and just share some final thoughts here. Oh, I spoke too soon. Now they are huddling up. Short and sweet pep talk. No visible frustration. Japan know they created enough chances to score plenty of goals in that first half. They must feel like the breakthrough is coming if they can stick to the pattern of the game so far. We did see one forced change in the first half. Pu Sin Hui leaving the game with what looked like a knee or an ankle problem. Out for Yang Xiao Chuan, the number 26. It's the only change in the game so far. Nils Nilsson knows how to win a tournament. The She Believes Cup was a Japan absolute masterclass. So back underway for the second half at the Perth Rectangular Stadium, this opening game of Group C at the AFC Women's Asian Cup 2026, and still scoreless between Japan and Chinese Taipei. And straight from kickoff, Chinese Taipei drop back into a deep defensive formation, and Japan will go to work looking for a way through it. As Hamano puts in an aggressive cross over the head of all and sundry, and it gives me the chance to welcome former Matilda Grace Gill back. Grace, we've had half time to size up Japan's first half dominance everywhere but the score sheet.
Thanks, Terry. It'll be great to see how this second half unfolds. Japan, if they stick with their tried and true and can find a way to break down this very formidable Chinese Taipei block.
Hamano with an outstretched foot. Body sprawled, but no whistle from the referee. And Huang Kei-sin will watch the ball run out for a goal kick.
Early moments indicate that Chinese Taipei will remain in that 5-4-1 formation, getting all of their players behind the ball, making things very difficult for Japan. So intrigued as to see if Nils Nilsson feels as though any tactical shifts are needed as the half wears on, especially if Japan are unable to find a goal.
Tanaka. Will stand its way all the way back to Takahashi at centre back. Asagawa. Hamano. Hamano just waiting on the ball. Minami. Over Fujino from the left flank. Asagawa. And then did a good pass for Takahashi to do much with under that sort of pressure. Just volunteers the ball up to Wong Yiting in goal.
You always get the sense that it'll take a moment of individual brilliance from Japan, someone to step up and do something special. They've most certainly got skills, and case in point, that touch there. But they just haven't been able to break down and find that finishing touch on the way through. So maybe a moment of brilliance is what's required.
Need into play on the left flank. Kitagawa. And a header wide. Hasegawa knows it was a good chance. Difficult to steer the header though. And Yui Hasegawa, 21 international goals. Couldn't make that one, number 22.
It's not far off though, and it's a really good chance. Cross from wide into, again, a very congested area. Hasegawa, who has covered some good ground in the first half, made herself available in one of the first flashes forward in the second.
An early problem at the start of the second half. Chung Chi-lan, one of the Chinese Taipei defenders who's been so important. You saw a very heavily strapped right leg there.
Hasegawa at the far post, more or less a free header, and again couldn't get the redirection of it right.
And even Chung Chi-lan was chasing there before that cross was swung in by Kitagawa. You saw her struggling to push off on the right leg, very heavily strapped hamstring, but seemingly okay to continue. Nagano. Minami. Shimizu. Now Hamano. Need to sprint forward, but engaged the defender, and Chen Yu-chin was able to clear. Fujino. Trying to take on 4 defenders at once, and well, Chinese Taipei unable to clear the ball, even though they had it surrounded. Fujino back in, Kitagawa, and it slides beyond Hasegawa, who is maybe in 2 minds between a volley and a header. Still able to recycle the ball though, and keep the attack going. Takahashi. And now Tanakawa, again surrounded by Chinese Taipei defenders. If Japan can't keep the ball speed high, we might start to see that more and more of individuals in the penalty area just getting swarmed by defenders in order to stifle any of their outlets. Your long shots in order. Takahashi. And the ball is cleared from the top of the penalty area, but only as far as Minami. Fujino. Good underlapping run by Kitagawa. And the header wide. Tanaka made ground to get to the header, but just couldn't steer it on goal.
Mina Tanaka continues to look a real threat, and again it's that movement into the box, cut back, the arriving runner, not challenged on the header but cannot redirect it. This is a Group C that Japan, fair to say, are expected to top, along the likes of Vietnam, India, and today Chinese Taipei, their first test, which is proving a really difficult task.
Hana Takahashi. Over to Moeka Minami. Kitagawa has already been prominent down the left flank in that second half, but he's going to have to opt for a throw in here. Nagano. Tanaka. Minami. Kitagawa. It's it back to Fujino. Fujino's cross, headed down. Immediately back into possession. Fujino puts up the cross. Again, good one-on-one defending. The ball is cleared away. Hwang Sin won it with a volley. Tanaka. Hamano. Through comes Matsunaga. Yeah, the grab has been seen by the referee. Even though Matsunaga then went and grabbed back, it's the initial foul which the referee has paid in Chinese Taipei's favour.
The referee did try to play advantage. You can see the little grab there, that's undoubtedly a foul. Just to pause to see if advantage could be played, not so in the end. Out to the sideline, but you can see immediately the Chinese Taipei players, they're all retreating. There's no thoughts of trying to trap Japan in their defensive half or commit numbers up the pitch. Everyone just immediately drops deep into formation, and Japan are immediately down to their attacking third. Fujino sprinting towards the penalty area, a deflected cross. It sits up and blocked on the line. Tanaka denied by a good save. Wong Yu-ting. Body position perfect. And Tanaka not able to pass the keeper. Hamano. Shimizu. The cutback. And the volley from Nagano. And blocked again. Some half-hearted chance for handball in there. And now the assistant referee is flagging. But that's for offside. Again, Japan just turn up the acceleration in their ball movement, and they very nearly scored. And just when you thought they had found a way through, Japan, yet again, it's the goalkeeper, Wang Yu-ting, who's positioned very well. Keeps herself strong, gets down nice and low, steers away the shot. And a busy afternoon for the goalkeeper. 7 saves so far.
So the restart from the offside. Chinese Taipei, can they venture forward? Too much grabbing going on the arm of Moeka Minami, so any hopes that Yang Xiaochan had of winning the ball, short-lived, and that will take us to 10 minutes expired in the second half now, with the game still scores. Kitagawa. Fujino. Drags in on the right side, and, well, it's sliced back to the goalkeeper, and an apology comes from Xu Yi-yun, because if your goalkeeper's even slightly out of position, that could have found a way in for an own goal. Long clearance from Wong Yu-ting. A bit of wrestling going on. Yang Xiaochan asking for a foul, but not forthcoming.
As quick as they've created some space, Chinese Taipei, they sit back in. No interest in looking to get forward. The game plan so far for them is working. So the question continues to dangle for Japan about how they break the deadlock, how they find a way through. They're running out of space. I think they really need to pull the ball back, create a little bit more in the way of room to play with, because when Japan have that room, they can pick apart a team like nothing else. But look how many Chinese Taipei players are behind the ball. So many numbers, which makes it incredibly hard to play through.
Yamashita again standing almost near the halfway line as the sweeper keeper. Underlapping run from Kitagawa. The cutback steered away again. Matsunaga this time tracking the runners. Just feels like they are starting to get in behind more and more, though. Japan, some of these cutbacks are really taking some last-ditch defending to keep away from the on-rushing attackers. Minami. Hasegawa, a beautiful run, and not quite connected with Shimizu. Coming in from right back there, Riza Shimizu, but couldn't bring the ball down.
It's been an afternoon of almost for Japan. Lovely little clip over the top from Yui Hasegawa, and almost able to get a boot on it. Riza Shimizu just can't quite get the touch. Just as quickly as Chinese Taipei have the goal kick, they return possession in kind to Japan.
This time, what has previously been a pretty solid connection between Aoba Fujino and Hikaru Kitagawa is not able to link up. Niels Nielsen, what minute does he turn to the bench? The hour mark is steadily approaching.
And again, a hot afternoon in Perth. We saw a drinks break in the first half in the 30th minute. We'll see one in the second half in the 75th. 33 degrees Celsius here at Perth Stadium.
Takahashi's pass. Tanikawa over the head of Hasegawa. There's a Shimizu again involved. Marco Tanikawa, just 20 years of age, an extraordinary young talent in the books of Bayern Munich. Ball not quite kept in by Tanaka there. Hasegawa. Tanikawa. Straight into the defender and not able to find a way through. Well, the aid of the referee's whistle. Tactical discussions taking place on the Japan bench as the team knocks the ball around in midfield. Takahashi dropping it on the spot. Tanikawa! At last for Japan! Momoko Tanikawa scores the opening goal, and it arrives at the hour mark. Chinese Taipei have been brave, but a great run from Momoko Tanikawa makes it Japan 1, Chinese Taipei 0.
Well, there it is, and it's been building for some time. Absolutely a matter of this first touch being brought down neatly. A side-footed finish that she makes look very easy. Momoko Tanikawa, such a bright young talent in Japanese football, puts a name on the world stage. And Japan needed that goal. They desperately needed to find one. They've got it. It's taken until the second half, but that is a neatly taken finish.
Chinese Taipei are blowing up a bit here. They've argued that there might have been a hand involved, an outstretched arm from Tanikawa. And after the emotional outpouring of finally scoring a goal, are Japan about to have it taken away by VAR?
Well, this is the touch in question. Off the body, I think the shout from the Chinese Taipei players suggesting that it brushed maybe the left arm of Tanikawa.
That angle doesn't tell us a great deal, so well, it's a challenging call here. The VAR official is Mashari Ali Al-Shamari of Qatar in the booth reviewing matters.
Not seemingly obvious if it did connect with the arm. Certainly didn't redirect where the ball was going from my perspective. But nonetheless, a nervous wait. Well, VAR has a close look at that.
Does stand, it'll be Tanikawa's 4th international goal in just 14 caps. There's the central referee, Oh Hyun Jong of Korea Republic, waiting for word in the air. The goal is given. Disappointment for Chinese Taipei, but the goal stands. And Tanikawa's strike does indeed make it 1-0, and there's going to be double change made by Japan immediately off the back of scoring here. Rita Shimizu and also Maika Hamano's day comes to an end. And coming on, you can see there the number 21, Miyabi Maria. And also Kiko Seika. Seika of Brighton, and Maria plays in America at the Utah Royals. So a double change for Japan. They've got the goal, and now they've got some fresh legs.
Well, they needed the goal. And in the end, it has stood an important, narrow lead for Japan after what has been a dominant performance with everything but a goal to show for it. In the end, lovely ball over the top. Just to find a beautiful touch and finish to match.
Gino's pass is caught on one bounce by Wong Yu-ting, so now we get to see if Chinese Taipei are anywhere near more adventurous pursuing an equaliser, if they are willing to risk a bit less defensive cover in exchange for trying to score another goal, or whether the plan is simply damage limitation and whether they immediately resume the previous defensive formation they were maintaining. For Japan, they can play with a bit more relaxation now, having got the goal in pocket. Will change their mindset as they pursue more. Nagano. Takahashi off the back of the assist. Minami. Kitagawa. It slides through the defensive line, but there was one more player there to clear, and that was Chen Yu-Chin. Fujino. Kitagawa. And a looping header that finds its way out. And so, off the bench, Keiko Sanda having an attempt. And now we're going to see the second and third substitutions of the game for Chinese Taipei. Teng Pei Lin and also Liu Yu Chao coming on. Chen Jinwen, who's been, like many of her teammates, key to a lot of the defending so far in the game. And also Su Sin Yun. So interesting decision here to make this double sub. Maybe a couple of the players that'll have a lot more work to do in the other two group games. As long as it was 0-0, those two were seemingly the ones in chief keeping Japan out, but perhaps with a 1-0 scoreline now, they are being preserved for other duties in what is, of course, a very rapid group stage with a short turnaround between the games.
Well, really good efforts by both players, both departing players. And remembering the heat as well, oppressive conditions in Perth. Tournament football, you need to be able to dig into the depth of your squad, the substitutes available. Allow some time for players to build minutes into their legs as well.
So, open play at the edge of the penalty area here for Chinese Taipei. The cross in is cleared by Takahashi and then not able to get a touch on the ball. Most recent sub, Liu Yu Chao. Have Chinese Taipei committed too many numbers forward? They haven't. Japan are going to take their time advancing, and as you can see, that allows Chinese Taipei to fall back into their defensive formation. A rare attacking foray, though, for Chinese Taipei.
Defensive transition is pretty quick, Chinese Taipei, and it needs to be as well. When Japan look to break, they move quickly, so in drop numbers behind the ball. Japan would love to extend their lead, add a little bit more.
Whipped in. And the follow-up, Takahashi spilling the ball. Good footwork against the sideline by Maria.
Let's have another look at this goal, the way it came to be. In the end, it was a lovely delivery over the top. It needed a good touch and a neat finish. All three arrived. Tanikawa threatening across the afternoon, but just hadn't had that finishing touch.
And an attempt from Tanaka there to twist a header back towards goal. Ultimately steered out for a goal kick. So the game has fallen into a little bit of a flat spot after the goal. Japan not seizing on the momentum created by it. Chinese Taipei, understandably, not too adventurous, at least yet. Trying to push numbers forward and look for an equaliser, whatever means are available to them. It's good application here in midfield and maybe the chance to go. Wu Kai-ching plays a pass, one for the runners. And Kitagawa comfortably back first to play the pass to Yamashita. Minami. Fujino jags inside, and the long shot is hooked. Wide left.
She's been lively this afternoon. Ayuba Fujino loves driving in on her right-hand side. Just a little shift of weight. Watch as she receives the ball, takes towards the defender and just pushes to her right foot. I don't mind the idea of the near post strike as well. Can catch the goalkeeper a little unaware.
Now Chinese Taipei running through midfield. Chin and draws a free kick, so an attacking half free kick opportunity. How many players will Chinese Taipei send forward though? We're into the last 20 minutes of regulation at the Perth Rectangular Stadium. It has been a taxing day in the heat. Can Chinese Taipei find a break in concentration from Japan at the back? They've had so little defending to do. Look at the number of white shirts here. They are going to try and seize this moment. Su Yi-yun to take the free kick here. First header is Japan, Maria. Chen. Fashions across. Aggressive touch coming from Teng, and Teng Pei Lin not able to turn back towards the target.
The ball from the free kick was put into the right area for Chinese Taipei, and you can certainly see that there's a bit of reliance on set pieces. More numbers committed forward in that moment, and now quickly retreating back behind the ball, as we've seen for large parts of this afternoon's game.
Quick drink from Huang Kei-sin. He won't be too far away from the second half cooling break. This time, a little bit too much in the challenge from Yang Xiao Chuan, giving away the free kick, but Japan happy to take it quickly. Hasegawa. The goal scorer, Tanakawa. Now to Maria. Takahashi, Hasegawa. And now the passing move comes unstuck. Takahashi. Great challenge, and now Moria with the cross. As Tanaka unfairly dealt with in the middle, she fell away. Japan bench asking questions, but the attack continues in the meantime. Tanakawa is there. Momoko Tanakawa not able to step through. Eventually the defense clears. Well, how was Mina Tanaka dealt with there on that cross into the box?
Well, there was a few things to unpack from that last passage. VAR are having a look for a possible penalty, but the first thing was the challenge we saw on the far side from Takahashi. A couple more players being ready to be substituted on. Shout for a penalty. Good chances again for Japan. A crunching challenge. That was the first one. Good to see that Chen Yu-chin is back on her feet, but a little sore.
So the players again waiting for the verdicts to come from the VAR booth. And the decision is no penalty, so double substitution coming here. We're going to see Hinata Miyazawa, the number 7, coming along with Romina Chiba. And the goal scorer makes way, Momoko Tanakawa, and she's joined by Hikaru Kitagawa, who's been outstanding down that left flank for Japan today. So the goal scorer takes her leave, though. And 2 new players into the action. It means Japan have now made 4 of their 5 substitutions allowed. Chinese Taipei have made 3 so far in the game. Straight back into possession are Japan. Minami, Hasegawa, Mariba. And now trying to follow up there, not quite able to break through. Miyabi Maria. Nagano drops it at the penalty spot. Fujino sees Chiba. First involvement off the bench for Ramina Chiba. Back to Fujino. Chiba again in space. Decides to engage the defenders. Not quite able to win a corner though. And as the ball hugs the line, eventually it does find its way out for a corner kick. And this is interesting timing to take a cooling break. I'm not sure Chinese Taipei will be thrilled that they will come back from the cooling break to defend a corner. It gives Japan plenty of time to strategize for it. But with 14 minutes of regulation time to go, Japan in the ascendancy as we take this break.
Well, fair to say they've been in the ascendancy for the last 76 minutes. They've only got 1 goal to show for it. After this cooling break, their 7th corner coming up for the afternoon. And you're right, just a little chance for the team to discuss, to come up with an approach to this corner kick. Look at some of the highlights from the second half so far. And again, it started well for Japan. Yui Hasegawa involved in everything, as she so often is this afternoon. Maybe Japan just needing some secondary runners into the box as well. Good figures forward, but of the chances that they have had, just unable to do the most, to cause the most damage. Chinese Taipei. Wang Yuting has been immense in goal. The defensive shape, the defensive block is working. It's asking the absolute most from Japan. This was indeed the finish that they did find.
Well, the Chinese Taipei defence were pretty adamant that there was a handball there. You can see them all start appealing. As soon as the ball hits the back of the net, VAR saw nothing untoward. And that is the only goal of the game so far. So there's the Japan huddle. Players now starting to walk back out to their positions for the final stages of this game. Will Japan score a second and put some distance between themselves and Chinese Taipei, or could an unlikely comeback still be on the cards? The game is going to resume here with a Japan corner. So a set piece opportunity straight away.
She didn't join the drinks break. Chinese Taipei goalkeeper standing ready to defend this Japanese corner.
So back from the cooling break, and Japan take a short corner. Hasegawa. Ball falls kindly at the back post. Scrambled away. Defenders lunging in. 3 of them, in fact. All of them committed to blocking away the shot.
Very rarely has it fallen to the feet of a Japanese player in time and space to get a shot away at such close proximity, like that last effort. But just how quickly the Chinese Taipei players flooded the area, closed down the opportunity. It's just been an immensely impressive defensive effort. It's a game plan. And we've said it time and time again now, that is working so far.
Chinese Taipei in their attacking half. Yang Xiaochuan has been perhaps the main player trying to get something going, at least just moving the game territorially up the pitch. The first half substitute. And there's an attacking throw-in to be taken here as we tick into the last 10 minutes of regulation time. Chang Chi-lan. Cleared away by Chiba. Can Japan now strike with a number of Chinese Taipei players up the pitch? Well done by Matsunaga there. Broke even in the 50-50. And that at least allowed some of the teammates to get back. Although there are still gaps to exploit here. Miyazawa through the right. Moriya. And then scrambled behind for a corner kick. Well done by Teng Pei-lin.
That was one of very few times that Chinese Taipei hadn't been able to get numbers in behind. This is that crunching challenge in the middle of the field. Players just ricocheting off one another, both left on the turf at Perth Stadium.
Asagawa after the short corner. Nagano. And the header up from Takahashi. It was an uncontested header, but Takahashi perhaps thinking maybe I should have gone for goal rather than set up one of the teammates.
It was a quick break by Japan that very nearly led to a second goal, and you could see the Chinese Taipei players just retreating, working so hard to get back. This tired legs fatigue starting to set in late into the game.
Minami. Fujino. Square ball. Moriya. Now Hasegawa turns and faces. Return pass. Moriya loops it. Punched away by Wong Yuting. Flag is up over on the outer side. And now the whistle goes. Even with just a little bit more space to work in, Japan's attacks look so different. And that's perhaps an explanation if you've been wondering as to why Chinese Taipei have been sitting so deep and with their midfield and defensive line so close together.
Well, they've stifled everything for Japan so far, and with the exception of the offside flag going up on that occasion, yet another wonderful save or interference from the goalkeeper. Maybe a little questionable on the offside call in the end.
Chiba. Fujino. Legged right at the edge of the area. And what's the call from the referee? Free kick right at the edge of the box. And Chang Chi-lan.
Well, that is incredibly close. Great call. It is just on the outside edge of the 18-yard box. And again, Fujino, dynamic, dangerous runs involved in everything. Awfully close to being pointed right to the penalty spot. Not to be just a free kick on the edge, but still a very dangerous position.
And a yellow card. So Chang Chi-lan becomes the first player to receive a yellow card in the 84th minute of the game. And again, in the first half, we saw the 29-year-old Taichung Blue Whale defender stay down, very heavily strapped right hamstring. Even though she's looking proppy here, she's going to get up and take her place in the defensive wall.
From this kind of range, we could be looking at a direct shot, and if not, a delivery to the on-rushing Japan players. You can see just lining up as options.
Two players over the free kick in broken shadow at the moment. Fujino and Hasegawa. Japan going to make a substitution before this free kick has taken place. Mina Tanaka, who was denied with a good close-range save from Wong Yu-ting earlier in the half, leaves without a goal. Here's the free kick driven in, and it's Wong Yu-ting again with a good save, denying for Gino here. Ball still bouncing around the area. Seika got a ball boot up, but it's cleared away. Maya Hichikita was the player who came on. 21-year-old from Aston Villa. As Wong Yu-ting is able to bat the ball down. And so Hichikita is the 5th and final player subbed on for Japan here, the number 26, and she'll have the final 5 minutes of regulation.
Well, it's safe to say that Chinese Taipei's goalkeeper, Wang Yuting, has had the most number of touches across the field from any other player for Chinese Taipei. Involved in everything defensively, coming up in really big moments. 8 saves now for the afternoon. 48 touches.
It's been a lot of work. And now a new striker in Hijikata. He has 2 goals in what is now 6 international caps at just 21 years of age. So another of the fantastic young talents that Japan are integrating into their senior team that's already been a key player at youth level. Hasegawa. Touch from Chiba. Fujino dancing on the ball here, just trying to find half a metre of space. Minami. And a driven diagonal ball, which was unretrievable for Miyabi Maria.
Well, the ball from Minami certainly had the right idea. Nice shape, but just a bit too much speed behind it. As the minutes, seconds tick away. Surely Japan will, well, they'd love to add another, but also love to consolidate the result. They start to look to their second game, as do Chinese Taipei. Fast turnaround, 3 days away.
Kiko Seika. Touch at the edge of the area from Miyazawa. Clearance only as far as Moria. Takahashi. Can Japan score a second goal in the dying stages of the game? Cross whipped in by Chiba. Well headed away. Trying to stick a 1-2 with Hasegawa. Chiba's going to energetically chase back, and yes, offside is the call there as Chiba was running in from an offside position at the end of that 1-2. So this will take it down to 2 minutes of regulation to go. There was a cooling break, and there's been plenty of substitutions and a long VAR check for the goal, and now we've got Chung Chi-lan down as well. So there will be a sizable chunk of additional time.
She's had a big night tonight, Chung Chi-lan. Defensive efforts. Fair to say the entire Chinese Taipei team has had a big night in defensive efforts. Spent most of the game camped well and truly in their defensive third. Just looking to block passing lanes, intercept passes between lines, and for the most part they've done that incredibly well.
And again, seemingly refusing to leave the game. The incredibly resilient Chung Chi-lan. You saw Pan Yen-sin there waiting to be subbed on seemingly at the next break in play. There's the shot count, 28-0, but only 1 goal to show for it. It is all important though for Japan. Here's Miyazawa venturing over to the left flank. And now Chiba has been really good at getting into space since coming off the bench. Runs at the defender here. Ramina Chiba, quick change of direction, was smooth, and now the cross to the back post is headed away. And that might be last touch off Moria. It is well defended by Chen Yu-chin.
As well as flooding numbers into these areas really well, what's something else Chinese Taipei have done impressively is getting their body in front of their opposition player. And we saw it on that occasion. Chen Yu-chin just getting pole position, not allowing the Japanese opponent just to slip in front.
So as we tick towards stoppage time, Japan continue with all 5 of their substitutes now seemingly seamlessly integrated into their attacking play. Can they find a goal? Nagano, one on the right. Moriya, Hasegawa has gone the distance as captain today, the full 90. Miyabu Moriya, and just an underhit pass which sits up to be cleared away, and we tick into 7 minutes of stoppage time allocated to finish the game. Of course, after this match, it is a short break. Saturday, Chinese Taipei against Vietnam back at the Perth Rectangular Stadium. That is going to be all important in determining positionings in the group, you feel. And means Japan's next assignment is India, also on Saturday the 7th at this very venue. Not going to get a chance to advance any further here. And in many ways, it's a group that, even though Japan are a very warm favourite to finish top, it is wide open beyond that. And it'll be fascinating to see Vietnam open their tournament against India later. There's a double change on the way here for Chinese Taipei. These will be their 4th and 5th substitutions of the game once they go through. Not just yet, though. We've got the throw-in coming here from deep at right back. Miyazawa ran a little too close to the defender. Chung Chi-lan doing well. Nagano blocks the clearance. Chiba, first time cross, up for the header and in. Kiko Seika committed to the ball and buried the header. And in stoppage time, Japan have 2. A combination of substitutes, and Ramina Chiba gets the assist. Japan lead Chinese Taipei 2-0.
Well, that was excellent, and exactly the point we were talking about. Japan getting pole position, and Seika can just drift in front at the last moment. Really tough to defend against. It was the second goal that they'd been searching for, and fair to say, it is the second goal they deserve, but substitutes combining, and that's the exact impact you want to see them make.
Chiba has brought all the new energy you would want from a substitute on that left wing, especially given how good a game that the player she was subbed on for, Hikaru Kitagawa, had. And Kiko Seika, 10th international goal in cap number 33. So a milestone for the 29-year-old. And now belatedly off the back of conceding their second goal in the game, Chung Chi-lan takes her leave, and on comes Pan Yen-sin. And also Chen Yu-chin, who's been another player who has battled so bravely today in the face of just relentless Japan attacking wave after another. She comes off, and Lee Yi-wen, the 20-year-old, comes on. So that's all 5 changes then for Chinese Taipei, and the players that have come on have 4 more minutes to continue the defensive stand. And Japan, they're not going to ease off here. They're going to cash in for their dominance right at the end of the afternoon. A cutback from Fujino. Chinese Taipei are arguing it's a goal kick, and the assistant referee agrees.
Good call. The ball just going over the line at the back. I think most impressively for Japan, there was no point where they looked frustrated, no point where they looked particularly panicked. As we see, yeah, and indeed does go over, does go out. But it's just patient play. It's a real trust in their system that they will find a way through. And it took deep into the second half to find the second goal.
And even in the 5th minute of stoppage time, the attack continues at pace for Aoba Fujino. What stamina the Japan players that started the game have shown, given the conditions. Fujino, a low-driven cross, and that is sliced towards the line and then defended away by Su Yi-yun, out for a corner kick.
having a quick look at a possible penalty. Well, it's been a fairly fascinating encounter. Chinese Taipei, they haven't registered a single shot, let alone a shot on target.
Just a quick VAR check to tick everything off. Corner taken short. Japan have gone past 700 completed passes for the game now. Cross to the back post. And Chinese Taipei with numbers in the vicinity. 2 minutes from the finish line for Chinese Taipei. Goal difference is going to be so important in this group. And even though Japan have created the number of chances to score many more, Chinese Taipei will settle for 2. They wouldn't want to have their day's toil undone if they concede here. One more right at the end. Chiba. Nagano. Miyazawa. Nagano out to Fujino. Underlapping run coming from Chiba. First time cross is a countback that's cleared away. With a minute to go, what do you think they might be least pleased about today, Grace, for Japan to work on in their remaining 2 group games?
Undoubtedly, they'll have a look at the dominance they had in the game, the number of chances, final third entries, shots, and then you'd imagine that pick apart how they can increase those into the coming games. They have to be more efficient, capitalise on their moments. They have been absolutely in the driver's seat for this game.
With 30 seconds of the allocated 7 minutes to go, is in familiar territory. Japan's attacking end at their feet. Again, Chinese Taipei sticking to their task, right to the finish line here. Can Japan create one more shot? Chiba dancing on the ball, able to skip into the penalty area, outside of the foot pass. And now Hasegawa, saved by Wong Yuting. And may well she puff out the cheeks and say, my day wasn't done. It's a corner kick.
Well, Wong Yuting, her afternoon has finished just as it started. Another fingertip save, an important piece of goalkeeping. And what an impact Chiba has made since coming on.
So the 7 minutes of additional time has expired. The corner was taken short. And the full-time whistle goes. Japan start AFC Women's Asian Cup 2026 with a win. They had to wait until the hour mark to break through for the opening goal, but they take care of business, and it's all smiles at full time. Chinese Taipei, you can see them congratulating each other on a resilient